Chat, thank you so much for your donations already to Big Brothers Big Sisters, and congratulations to the Avalanche win. This is what you guys wanted, I guess, so this is what I'm doing. That's a shoey. Let's start the show. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche post-game show live from the Toyota Winners Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships and presented by Bet365. My shoe is leaking on my head right now, so that's fun. If you're wondering why we did this, it was because of Giving Day for Big Brothers Big Sisters. On the watch along, you guys donated $660 to Big Brothers Big Sisters during that, which got you this award. This is what you guys chose a shoey. I don't know. Blame yourselves for that. You can still continue to donate, depending on how fast you get there. I don't know if AJ is going to jump on the show or not, but if AJ can't come on the show, I'll go tarps off for $800, and then if you guys can get to 1,000, which you only need $340 more donated. We're including this stuff from before. $1,000 and I'll bleach my hair. So you guys have the power to do that if you really want to see it. J Mike joining in for the post game show. Thank you for jumping on. Avs win and make it look reasonably easy again.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver weirdly hangs around with the Avs seemingly every single time. Like, credit them for not going away, but really similarly to what we said the other night, felt like they came out strong with the kind of opening push there over the first 5 minutes, didn't score, and then once that happens, I just feel like it's got to be so discouraging, you know, if you're the opposition. Like, you come out, I don't want it, for lack of a better term, like maybe prematurely blow your wad, and then you know you're in a position where you're trying to get back into the game after that. And I've just been so impressed with the way the Avs have been able to cruise at home. I mean, they're taking home ice advantage to a new meaning here this year.
Yeah, I mean, no regulation losses at home is outrageous behavior, and only one regulation loss on the season, even more outrageous. But I mean, a lot to get into in this one. Let's hit the 60-second rundown before you do anything else. Like J Mike mentioned, Vancouver came out hot. First 5 minutes, they really did push quite hard against the Avs. And they get rewarded for that. On a fast break chance, they get the first goal of the game for Linus Karlsson. The Avs were giving up the cherry pick play a little bit, at least in the early portions of this game, and that one cost them. But the Avs do eventually work their way back into the game, get that goal back at the end of the first period. Nathan MacKinnon picks up an easy rebound finish. The second period, the Avs pretty much just took over the game and jammed it down Vancouver's throat until they got rewarded for it. Brock Nelson picks up one off of a quick play that Landeskog gets them into the zone on, and then Nathan MacKinnon with another last-minute goal in a period to make it 3-1 off of another great play from Gabe Landeskog. And that was the final goal of the game. The third period was pretty academic. Vancouver had flashes of pushes, but never really put together all that much danger. And the Avs didn't get an empty netter, so no hat trick for MacKinnon. I guess that's where I was going. But Avs take the win 3-1. I guess we should get this out of the way first. I don't think we're going to have a ton of negatives from tonight, but Scott Wedgewood did leave the game, did not return officially an upper body injury. There is some speculation that it might just be that he's sick, but we don't have anything really confirmed at this point.
Love the ambiguity of hockey injury reports.
Yep.
He has some type of ailment, potentially. That's what we know.
Yeah. So not a whole lot there that we know. I can't imagine we'll get a whole lot of information on that. You know, if he is just sick, maybe Bednar will just say so in the post game, and I'm sure we'll have that later in the show. Yeah, if you guys are donating, click the donate button with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Why don't you explain real quick for those who maybe don't know how to donate, how they should go about that process?
So if you're watching the show, you should see a donate button somewhere on the page. I don't really know where, to be honest, fully. But we should be, the donate now button's right there. Look at that. You go below the chat, there's a donate now button. You can donate there. Any amount of money, we'd greatly appreciate that. And then any donated money goes to the rewards on screen that you can see there. As mentioned, we're already at $660, so you only need $340 more to get me to bleach my hair.
You should also mention for a good cause. We're not just trying to get you to give us money, raising money for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America.
Yeah, bleaching my hair is not a good cause. In fact, that's a bad cause. But giving money to the kids and helping them out and getting them with bigs and giving them opportunities to live, normal lives in some cases, or just maybe a little bit of help that they need. It's great stuff. Way cooler than anything I do. So, and look at that. We already got $40 donated from Dookie Shoes. So thank you so much. That puts us to 700. 800 as a milestone where if AJ's still awake, he'll come on the show. And if he's not, I'll take my shirt off. So 700 total. But getting back into this actual hockey game, I don't know that Vancouver is any good. I don't want to discredit the Avs. Like, obviously, they did a good enough job to win. But the way this game played out was when the Avs decided they want to win the game, they kind of just did, which is awesome to see the Avs have the ability to flip that switch. But also Vancouver bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably some element of human nature. The Avs know who they're going up against in this matchup. We laid out all the stats and, all of the areas where the Avs had the advantage in this one, and surprise, it was every single element of the game. But, I mean, kind of going back to what I said there in the beginning, not very eloquently, bear with me tonight, guys. I'm on a lot of cold medicine and Gatorade. That's what I'm running on at the moment. But I do think there is something to be said about just how disheartening it's got to feel playing against a team like Colorado, because they just turn it on in a heartbeat, and like you're hanging around, late period goal, twice in this matchup, and it's like a boa constrictor, like you might have moments, but eventually they're going to suffocate you. And that's kind of what they did in this one. Like Vancouver had a nice couple of first minutes. They get the early goal, credit to them for getting that on the road, but they didn't do anything to capitalize with it. And, credit Wedgewood before he went out, had a huge save on that breakaway on
he did
Sherwood. But I just think this team is inevitable right now. And when they're executing the way they are, like late in the second period, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, a total blast from a Colorado Avalanche team that no game is perfect. You're gonna see stretches where the Avs are either, I wouldn't say floundering is the right word, but maybe passes aren't connecting, the play isn't quite where you want it to be. And then when the Avs turn it on, you go, all right, they're the best team in the league, and it's almost been too normalized at this point that the Avs can just do this to teams that are lesser. And it's not just the elite players that are getting it done either. You're getting quality play, like shift in and shift out from a lot of guys. And I know the production all comes from your top six really today, but you still are able to trust the Avs running their entire lineup. And I can pull up the TOI here and we can get into it a little bit, but in a game where you had some guys who were probably a little bit under the weather, I don't know what level of sickness they were at. They were obviously good enough to play. But MacKinnon led your time on ice with 22 minutes, Natchez at 21, and Leckie at 20. And then your second line, 17 for Nelson, 16 for Landeskog, 15 for Colton. All the way up and down the lineup, you're getting that quality distribution there. It's good on the defensive side, too. Makar up at 24, but Taves played 21. Burns 3 seconds shy of 20 minutes. Your low man was Malinsky at 16:30. I know this is probably a little deja vu from previous games, but the Avs are consistently putting out that even spread of minutes in a way that we haven't seen a ton of from Colorado over the last handful of years. It's usually been heavy reliance on those top guys. I think the Avs deserve a ton of credit, one, for putting themselves in positions where they can afford to do that, but two, I think it's some good growth from Jared Bednar.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's shown more trust in some of his young guys at times and allowed them to maybe ride the inevitable highs and lows that are going to come with, getting thrown into the lineup here and there. I mean, some of these dudes that are getting, random minutes in the bottom six, like it's going to be a bit of a whirlwind at times, but I'm with you. And I think this game is kind of a perfect representation of the difference between these two teams, just the disparity in depth between, Vancouver and Colorado. It's really, you look at Hughes on the other side, and I think they talked about it a little bit on the broadcast. He's got like 7 or 8 games of almost 30 minutes of ice time. Like that's a tough way to sustain over the course of an 82 game season. And I just feel like not only are you getting the game-to-game benefit of Bednar being willing to give some of these guys, varying shifts on the ice, but you're going to feel that in the long run as well, not having to put all that mileage on the tires, in the first half of the season.
It should be desperation, right, to use any player that much. A team like Vancouver, who is down bad, you get that. A team in the Avs situation should not have to do that, and they aren't doing that, and it's great to see from that front. We did get 2 more $5 donations, one from Anonymous and one from Slayer, so thank you very much. That gets us up to $710, $90 away from the next milestone, if you guys want to get us to that. I really have very few negative notes from this game. I kind of trying to get those out of the way because we're mostly going to get into positives. I'm going to gush about how good the Avs are and their top guys are ridiculous. There were guys that didn't have perfect nights. I really didn't love Brent Burns' game very much tonight. I don't think you should be very happy with what he did. I think there were some other forwards that at times, not that it was bad.
AJ
but
had some critical tweets of Lehkonen, I think.
Yeah. I just felt a little bit off with him on the puck. I don't know, but when you're having an off night with a Brent Burns, it gets pretty easy to overlook that when the rest of the team is playing so well. When you're getting the quality play that you need to from some guys, it's okay. Not everyone's going to have the perfect night at the same time. And, of course, the Avs aren't like going into morning skate planning out who's going to have a bad night and who's going to have a good night. But when you're a good team and you can get that balance, it's the word you've been using is inevitable, right? That's what makes the Avs inevitable to me.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, when you look at the production, it's certainly top heavy, and that's going to be the case when you have the star power that the Avalanche have. But they're not so much so that it's, messing with the balance, and I just think that when you get the type of consistency that you're getting across the board out of the lineup right now, it's just such a major asset. And it's, again, maybe we're getting a little bit spoiled at this point with like what McKinnon's doing. I mean, he's seems like that 70 goal season is, put the money down at this point. But I've been so impressed with, some of the guys you're talking about. Jack Drury, we're seeing Landeskog step up, and I know putting Landeskog in that conversation is not necessarily accurate. He's the captain, but like the hands are back, and you're just seeing it across the board. And I don't really know what you're supposed to do. Like, I feel bad for opposing coaches, and I imagine there's a whole lot of deep breaths in the mirror, throwing some cold water on the face, in the minutes leading up to the puck dropping.
You know you're in for it when you're going against the
You know, it's
Colorado
just
Avalanche.
like, shit. Like, I gotta imagine it feels like going in, like when I knew I would just bomb a test in college, just hadn't gone to class or whatever, and you're just, all right, well, I just got to eat this one.
Yeah, sometimes that's the life. Ridiculous donations coming in. $25 from the Stig, $300 from an anonymous donor. That's crazy and puts us well over 1,000. And then $10 more from an anonymous donor, which I think, so what, all up, that would be $1,045. That's ridiculous. That does get us to the bleached hair, which I will do. Obviously, I'm not going to do that on the show right now because I have to go home and do that. But I did just throw it out there. Like $1,000 is just bleached hair. If y'all want frosted tips, you got to get us to 2,000. That's the mark I said. So
we can do it. It's for the kids, y'all. Remember, this is for a good cause.
Right.
On top of it also just being a lot of fun to embarrass Rudo.
Yeah. As much as I love getting made fun of, do it to help children because that's actually a good reason instead of me being an idiot. We do also need to take our first break of the show and shout out a few of our partners, though. So let's make sure we're doing that as we are brought to you by one of our new sponsors in New Built Restoration and Construction. New Built, available 24/7, and they truly care about being there for their customers. They have over 600 reviews to prove this to be true. They'll work with your insurance to make sure a stressful process is as smooth as possible. So whenever an emergency hits, make sure you're getting with New Built. They use licensed general contractors who can help with any project, big or small. They're repairing services for fire damage, water damage, mold removal, repair, and more. And they're true DNVR fans, too. They're part of the family. So when that home emergency hits, New Built Restoration and Construction will be there at newbuilt.com. That's NUBILT.com, or call 720-903-4254. I got all the numbers in there. Let them know DNVR sent you over there when you hit up New Built Restoration and Construction. And then, instead of betting on your hair color, maybe go bet with Bet365. You can jump in with Bet365 today and use code DNVR365. Put $10 in your account, bet $5 on anything. They'll get $150 in bonus bets. They're also a proud partner of the Colorado Avalanche. So make sure you're going out there and getting your money to win. The $150 in bonus bets is essentially free money that you can bet with on whatever. They've got a bunch of great parlay boosts and bonus bets and all sorts of cool stuff. If you pick an NHL team to win and they get up by 3 at any point, you get paid out immediately. So you don't have to wait around for that win. Jump in with Bet365. Get that $150 in bonus bets by betting $5. Win or lose, you don't even have to hit the bet. Use the DNVR365 code at sign up. Of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Second period, the DNVR Avalanche podcast. We'll get into our 3 stars. I'm assuming AJ's not coming. I'm going to take my shirt off.
Take it off. Never thought I'd be able to say that to a coworker without, fear of HR meeting.
Nope, no HR here. If anything, I'm going to get HR called on me for this. So, is the lighting good? Am I blinding you? Is my paleness working out great, chat? Isn't this what you wanted? Instead of focusing on me, let's get into the 3 stars of the game. And star number 3 is going to Mackenzie Blackwood. Jumping into a hockey game cold as a backup goalie is never an easy thing to do. And Blackwood went out there, and it's not, sometimes when you're the backup or you come in relief, you get shelled quickly and you get a bunch of shots to get warm and get ready to go. Blackwood came in and faced virtually nothing for half a period and still managed to make the saves he needed to and not let Vancouver come back into this game. So I do think he deserves a ton of credit for making the Avs' life easier tonight.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's a accurate comparable for trying to go into a hockey game cold and then face NHL shots. But for him to do what he did in this one, and as you mentioned, not the biggest volume, but I think it's almost more impressive in some ways that he already was in a wonky position. Then he gets thrown into the into the fire, but doesn't get a chance to, like immediately get his feet underneath him, get in a rhythm there, get a feel for the game, to then, close out the game strong when you did face a little bit of pressure, not a ton, but a little bit in that third period. Vancouver had some zone time there. I've been really, really impressed with what we've seen from him of late, and this has been the Mackenzie Blackwood that was, envisioned at the beginning of the year when he was the guy that we were talking about being a potential option for Team Canada.
I mean, they can always have a late edition. It's always possible. So I don't know if I'm counting him out from Team Canada just yet. Blackwood also kind of the champion of the defense in this game. I don't want to discredit that. It's not like Blackwood came in and balled out like you said. The Avs gave up 21 shots total in this game. This was not the Avs are just surviving Vancouver's onslaught. No, Vancouver really didn't do much not for lack of effort. We're back. Hello. I'm back. Technical difficulties, but we're back. As I was saying, Avs defense ridiculously effective at limiting in-zone offense. The one thing that was really beating the Avs was the stretch passes and the cherry picking type stuff in the first period. And then the Avs did a great job adjusting to stop that from happening, and they didn't give up a whole lot more of that through the second and third periods of this game. So credit to the Avs defense on that front as well, and not just Mackenzie Blackwood as we get things back up and running here. You're not banned, Dig Dug. I don't know. I can see your chats, so I don't think you're banned. Second star, as we can continue moving on here and getting back on track. Gabe Landeskog. Now, I know he didn't score any of the goals tonight, and they are good finishes by MacKinnon and Nelson on the plays that he set up. But he just seems like a man possessed right now. I think over the last, let's call it 10 games to be safe, the version of Gabe Landeskog started to come back into the version that we all know and love as the best version of himself. And he's just become a man possessed to dominate hockey games. And I don't even mean the great plays. It's a great play to get a puck to Nelson, to spring him, to get across the blue line in time. It's a great play to earn a puck and get it to MacKinnon on the goal. But some of his best plays are the ones that aren't leading to the goals. Watching him just go full beast mode, one hand on the stick, handling a puck somehow that I couldn't do in a million years, while also holding off a guy taller and bigger than him. It's like watching a Swedish god. He's just doing stuff almost as ridiculous as what I'm doing on camera right now. It's crazy. I don't know what to tell you on that one. Yeah, good times. J. Mike, any thoughts on Gabe Landeskog being the best?
I just think if he can even scratch the surface of the Gabe Landeskog of old. I mean, we've already talked about how overwhelming the depth is of this team from top to bottom. And now it seems like the chemistry with Nate is there. The timing is there. The hands are there. It wasn't necessarily earlier in the season. He's always going to be a little bit slower than he once was. But the savviness, the timeliness, the skill, that's what was always what made him so special on top of, the grittiness and everything else he brings to the table from a physicality standpoint. I just think it's been fun to see him and Nate looking like some school kids out there. I mean, like the only time we ever see MacKinnon show legitimate positive emotion, like crack a smile, is when him and Landy, combined to produce a goal. And it's been cool to see him kind of take his game to another level here over the last, 10 games or so.
Yeah, everything about the Avs is just super fun right now. Like watching Landy take that next step, watching even the like misplays at times. Marty Necas doesn't connect on a pass, but he tries to do something crazy where you're like, oh, that would have been fun. Even when Brent Burns is making a mistake, he's like spinning out and doing a 360, and you're like, oh, that was kind of silly. It just feels like the Avs are certainly the funnest they've been in a long, long time. And maybe some of that is distance from the Stanley Cup win and a team that feels like they're back to being truly the best team in the league. But it's a team everyone wants to tune into every night.
Yeah, I just think that the variety of contribution you're getting right now and the amount of guys who are capable of, producing a highlight goal or just like a play that makes you turn your head is kind of unfair at this point. And then kind of just going back to what we were saying earlier, like you really have to poke holes and nitpick if you're looking for things to be upset about, because the vibes are pretty high at the moment with this squad.
Yep. And our number one star, who is pretty high on everybody's list and everything, is Nathan MacKinnon. Now,
that's pretty good.
I don't know how sick Nathan MacKinnon actually was for this game. I know Bednar said he was sick for last game, so hopefully he was feeling a good bit better. But dude just shows up and scores 2 goals, it feels like, every other game for the Avs. He's on 22 goals already this season. Someone said that was a 69 goal pace, so nice.
Nice.
There's a couple specific things I want to talk about with MacKinnon, but I'll give you the floor first on him, J-Mike.
I think the timeliness of his goals kind of speak to how special of a player he is, because even on the nights where he's maybe he never really disappears, but I mean, I think there was one point in the first period where on the broadcast you're like 5-6 minutes in, and one of them said something along the lines of, I don't know if we've even seen MacKinnon touch the puck yet. And then, you get the goal at the end of the period and you're just like, oh yeah, that's what he does. He's in the right place at the right time and he capitalizes. And his finishing this year has just been on another level. I don't think he's necessarily been revered for that throughout his career.
Nope.
I think it's time to start shifting that conversation when talking about Nate. I mean, at this point, it's really a large sample size going back to how hot he was at the end of last season and what he's carried into this year. I mean, the guy's a goal scorer.
So here's the thing I believe that Nathan MacKinnon has changed about his game or improved or whatever you want to call it. MacKinnon has always been unbelievably elite at playing with the puck on his stick. It's never been a hard thing for him to do. Obviously, his feet do a lot of the work there, but he has those extremely quick hands. He knows how to beat a player. He knows how to finish when he's playing with speed. But where Nathan MacKinnon's goal scoring has taken that next step is not even necessarily with his shooting ability, but with his ability to play off the puck. He's understanding better how to play off the puck by putting himself in the right places at the right times. And the second goal he scores is not that hard, right? You put yourself in the middle of the ice, Landeskog makes a great play. He puts a really good finish on it. Fair enough. But when you look at that first goal, it feels a little bit like a freebie because it's a rebound tap-in, essentially, for MacKinnon. But he's had a handful of those this year that he used to never get because he would not position himself correctly and not put himself in the right spots driving the net to get those off the puck. And, we've talked a lot about the frustrating version of Nathan MacKinnon as a guy with cement in his boots and does not move his feet when he could be doing so. And he's doing such a better job of that at times this year that, yes, you could say he's getting some easy goals, but he's earning those by doing the right things to be in the right places to get them.
He's putting himself in advantageous opportunities, which is what good players should do.
Yep.
I think, again, back in the day, maybe there were some times where lazy is probably never the right term for a player of Nathan MacKinnon's, effort and caliber, but he's doing the little things and you reap the rewards of that. Like I cover basketball, obviously. Rebounding is positioning more than anything. And if you put yourself in the right position, you understand the angles, you're going to benefit from that. And we're seeing him really feast.
It's fun to watch. maybe a grown-up version of MacKinnon isn't the right word. He's 30 years old. He's been grown up for a while, but it seems like that the part of the hockey brain that we see start to switch on for veterans in the NHL is starting to switch on for Nathan MacKinnon. We did it over 100 likes.
The legs aren't always going to be there. So
Yep. You got to find other ways to be effective. I mean, they're both there for MacKinnon right now, so that's fun. We did hit over 100 likes. Chat, thank you very much for that as well. We got our winner shots here. Shout out to Dr. Dubs. We appreciate all of y'all very much. Get the emojis in the chat if you're a Supporters Club member. J. Mike hitting on that Gatorade. That's the good stuff. You guys got to get me back on the Jaeger. I can't do this other stuff. It's killing me. All right. I think it's time to take our second break probably. So let's jump over, make sure we're doing that. Yeah, the full screen on my half naked body. I'm sure they love that. We are brought to you by one of our fantastic sponsors in Game Time. If you want to stop looking at my face, get to an Avalanche game and do it through Game Time. When you sign up with code DNVR with Game Time, you'll get $20 off your first purchase in the app. Of course, terms apply, but Game Time has a bunch of different ways to just save money, whether it's their last-minute ticket deals, their section selector, or just use the Game Time Picks feature. Jump in with Game Time and get yourself to whatever sporting event you want. Doesn't have to be the Avs. Maybe you're a Nuggets fan and you want to go to one of their games, or a Broncos fan, whatever it might be. Even if it's concert and theaters, Game Time has you covered. So download the Game Time app today. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code DNVR for $20 off. $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today and get that great deal. Once you're all set up with Game Time, you're also going to want to get with Dick's Sporting Goods. You can jump in with Dick's. Oh, no, my shoe. I got my other one. It's fine. It's all good. Dick's has all of the equipment you need. So, you can go exercise and play sports and not look like me and actually be in shape. Whether it be footwear that you can wear on your head, like Originals, FP Movement, Nike, Adidas, VRST, Calia, and more, or, actual sporting equipment for any number of sports, baseball, basketball, football, soccer, hockey, whatever. If you found a lower price, they will price match guarantee it. So Dick's has you covered no matter what. They've even got DNVR merch. So if you want to buy shirts and look cool and not like me, I wear DNVR shirts. I look cool when they're on at least. Go get yourself some DNVR shirts at your local Front Range Dick's stores, or you can get your gear fast with free curbside pickup at your nearest store or easy shipping from Dicks.com, because every season starts at Dick's. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I want to stay with Dick's so we can do our filling the stat sheet, checking the stat sheet, whatever you want to call it, with Dick's Sporting Goods. And I wanted to go back to Gabe Landeskog for our stat sheet check, because obviously we've talked up Landy about how good he's played and how good it looks. The stat sheet absolutely reflects that with him too. In his last 5 games, he's put up 7 points. So that alone, just an insanely good 5 games. But you expand that out, you go back to November 11th, which is not quite a month, I guess, but in the last 3 weeks, scored 5 goals and picked up 5 assists as well. So that's a well-balanced attack from Gabe Landeskog, that is. And I think that's the key. Landy is never going to be the super flashy guy, the guy who's scoring highlight reel goals. And while he can be a power forward, he's not going to really be making the highlight plays all that often. But he is a guy that puts it all together. You put him on a third line and he'll be effective. You put him with your second line guys and he's feeding Brock Nelson. You put him with your first line and he can play with a MacKinnon or a Leckie or a Natchez. It does not matter who you put Landeskog with. He's producing.
Yeah, I think the malleability that he's shown has been encouraging, and I think the flexibility that Bednar's been able to have, kind of interchanging some of these guys and still getting that consistent production, has been one of the most encouraging elements of this first half of the season. And if you can continue to get this uptick in production out of Landy, Brock Nelson as well, look out, because you know what you're going to get out of Nate. You know what you're going to get out of Marty. Like, those guys are going to put up a couple hundred points together, close to it. Like it's pretty crazy. But to be getting this type of consistent point production game to game out of Landy, I mean, at that point, like that's just getting greedy. That's just bonus Jonas on top of everything that this team's already doing.
Yeah, it's those types of players, those type of additional things that make you feel like the Avs should be favorites to win a cup and do some special stuff. And obviously you got Nichushkin back today too, which was awesome. It had some flashes. I don't think it was his best game ever, but I don't think it was bad by any stretch either. And you sit with this good problem to have of like, the Avs have 7 top 6 guys, so one of them has to play on the third line. Like, that's such a luxury in the NHL to be that deep.
Just an embarrassment of riches. Like, what a wonderful problem to have. Oh no, I've got too many delicious side dishes to choose from with my meal. My beverages are too cold.
Yep. And like, just to drive that home, the Avs' best possession lines in this game were their third and fourth lines. Your top line did the producing, and your third and fourth lines did the dominating of the puck and not giving Vancouver away back into the game.
I mean, there was a stretch there in the third period where the bottom 6 maintained possession for what felt like 5 straight minutes in that Vancouver zone, and they had a couple of good scoring chances. And if nothing else, like you killed the period. Like, like you didn't allow Vancouver to get a rush the other way.
It sounds like we have the courtesy call ready to go. All right. Maybe in a minute.
She's in for a fun one, jumping.
Yeah. There we go. Bailey Curtis live from Ball Arena, joining us after another fun win. I'm sure the hockey was a lot more fun to look at than what's happening on this podcast right now.
I'm wondering what I just called into.
Charity, baby. Raising money for the kids.
Yeah, it's for Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
It's for a good cause. Woohoo. No, this game got off to, pretty slow start, but when you get 2 late period goals the way you did from a Nathan MacKinnon, it really brings the vibe up. And that's kind of what happened. You get a really cool performance from a Mackenzie Blackwood, who unfortunately had to step into the game. But overall, I mean, it's another check on a now 17-game point streak. So I don't know what really there is to complain about.
Virtually nothing, I imagine, is the complaint section at this point. I know the answer is no update, but I do have to ask. Scott Wedgewood leaves the game, doesn't return, upper body. Is there anything else there?
So Jared Bednar mentioned that it seemed more preventative than anything. He had some tightness in his back that he was dealing with, and they didn't want to push it if it was anything more serious than what it seemed. They wanted to be a little cautious. He will go on the trip coming up here, so that to me seems like a good sign, but yep. They'll kind of reassess over the next couple days of practice and morning skates and things like that just to see where he's at. But all seems good in Scott Wedgewood land as of right now.
Good news for once. That's a nice change.
Yeah.
MacKinnon obviously with the 2 goals is great. Does he get extra bonus points for being sick, or was he basically back to 100% for this game?
He seemed. I guess you could call them bonus points, because even Jared Bednar was like, I mean, it wasn't great. He didn't love tonight from Nathan MacKinnon, which is a crazy thing for me to kind of conceptualize, because, again, two goals.
Yep.
But, yeah, it seemed like everybody was kind of down, and Nathan MacKinnon I wouldn't exclude from that. So he's just, but that's what you're expected to do when you are Nathan MacKinnon. You are the first star of the month of November, and do what he does. And you're currently leading the league in goals and points and all of the fun things. That's what you're supposed to do, night in and night out.
It is, and he's doing that. So, not the whole team is doing that. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
Thank you to Jean or Jeanne. I'm sorry if I ruined your name, for becoming a member. You can become a Supporters Club member today too. It gives you access to all our behind-the-scenes content, as well as a bunch of emojis in chat that you can throw down for a night like tonight, like the Mad Mac, which we got a little bit of. Bailey, the Avs seemed to be, I don't know if I'd say extraordinarily physical, but there was some extra edge to their game against Vancouver tonight. Do we know why, or is that just how things played out?
I think that's just kind of how things played out. I think, if anything, there was a little bit of frustration coming in from some of these guys because a lot of the calls, like Nathan MacKinnon said in his presser, that there were a lot of calls that they drew that they didn't necessarily get. And so there's a little bit of frustration coming out from that aspect of things. And I think that contributed a lot just because, it's frustration at that point. And so that's kind of where I see it, is things are maybe just not rolling. Like, they're already playing, not great hockey through the first period. You're starting to kind of push at everything that comes your way. And that's really all it seemed to me. So
You can't not score on the power play if you don't have a power play, though.
This is true. Would we consider this, a decent performance from what we saw so far? So, yeah, that's kind of the way that I look at it. It's calls aren't going their way, and I feel like, despite all of that, I feel like they played decent hockey. They pushed through it, and their game, I feel like, got better through the game, which is all you can really ask. If it only gets better from what they allowed during the first period, I'm not upset.
Who was your sleeper star or unsung hero from this game? Because obviously McKinnon, Landeskog, those guys are getting the points. Who else performed quietly good?
I feel like I've got to give that to a Ross Colton. Ross Colton made some really sneaky good contributions that didn't show up on the score sheet. And it's one of the things I kind of talked about with Gabe Landeskog after the game, is you've got a Nelson who's performing. You've got a Gabe Landeskog who picked up 2 points on the night. Ross Colton produced a lot of chances. He had a couple high dangers there, a lot of really good pushes, and nothing to show for it on the score sheet. And that's just something to be said about, what he's creating off of the score sheet and how he's kind of creating a lot of these helpers and putting his teammates in good situations to go and produce on the score sheet. It just goes to show the kind of player Ross Colton is. And I'd love to see that production show out more on the score sheet, but if that's what he's producing and if that's how his line mates are producing, I'm not exactly mad at it. I love the way that Ross Colton is playing right now. I feel like mechanically everything off the score sheet play-wise has been insane from what I'm seeing for number 20.
So the easy next question then is, Valanciunas back in the lineup. He plays on the third line tonight, but it's hard to believe the Avs are going to leave him there. Has Colton done enough to stay in the top 6?
I feel like you and I talk about this all the time too. I mean, all of this stuff, doing all of these things off the score sheet is great, but that doesn't win you games a lot of times.
You got to score.
It's goals and producing points that's going to eventually, you have to score more than the other team. And until Ross kind of starts getting over that hump a little bit and starts a little bit more of that production as a second line winger, Val Nichushkin could easily play him out of a spot. And I would say that with all the love in the world for a guy like Ross Colton and what he is doing on the second line. It's just the reality of the situation. You've got a Val Nichushkin who I think looked okay in today's game. I think he created enough for what you can do on the third line. There's definitely more in the tank there. And my expectations are not high with his first game back. So I think there's a lot more that we're going to see from Val Nichushkin kind of getting back to the form that he was in when he got injured. If I can see more production from Ross Colton, I'd love to see him stay there. If that's the argument we're having, that is a stacked top 3 lines.
Yep.
For the Colorado Avalanche. So I'm not necessarily mad if Val Nichushkin stays down there. For me, it'll come down to chemistry, and can he work well enough with a Jack Drury who's really doing well and distributing for that third line to produce well enough? And is Ross Colton a better fit chemically down there?
Maybe. It's certainly a good problem to have, like you said. So the Avs set up in a great spot. What do we even call the Avs at this point? It's a 17-game point streak.
I feel like wagon seems like not a good enough term at this
that's what I'm
point
saying.
anymore. I don't even know.
At
Like
this point, like
it's I have no idea what to make of this. It's been an incredible run so far. It's hard to not be happy with how things are rolling through the we're at the third point of the season, and the Avs are still only at one regulation loss. It just I don't have words for that.
Literally the second best start to a season ever. Like,
like what do you make of that? Like wagon doesn't seem sufficient enough for what this Avs team is doing currently.
They're that good. I got nothing else.
yeah, go win a cup.
Bang.
Yeah.
Do that.
Cool.
Long way to go still for that. Bailey, any final thoughts here before we let you go?
Not many. I'm hoping that this road trip turns out to be a good one for the Avs. They haven't shown that they're a dominant team on the road, just like they're a dominant team at home. So let's go and make it 20, make it 21, whatever it might be. Get us some more points back in that column.
If they get a point streak that's old enough to drink, I don't even know what I'll do at that point.
Did I hear we're getting the blonde hair?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Raised
have to
over
find something better.
$1,000 tonight. Shout out to the community.
Yeah,
You guys, you went above
Yeah,
and
that's
beyond.
awesome, you guys.
Ridiculously awesome stuff. It's just bleach though. No tips unless you guys give like a lot more money. So
maybe if the point streak can get old enough, we'll consider it.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Bailey, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you and all of your insights. Make sure you're going and checking out all of the stuff she writes and AJ writes over at thednvr.com. We do need to take our final break of the show here as, let's be honest, do I look like a guy who likes to stare into the sun? No, clearly. I don't get much sun at all. And that's why I use Shady Rays when I drive. So make sure you go get your Shady Rays so you don't go blind. You can get 35% off any of their polarized sunglasses, hundreds of different styles to choose from when you use code DNVR at shadyrays.com. The coolest part is, though, look, I'm criminally do this all the time, forget my sunglasses somewhere, whether it's like at the gas station or at the beach or whatever. Shady Rays has you covered. For the first 30 days, if you don't like them, you lose them, or you break them, they'll replace your sunglasses entirely for free. No guilt trip, nothing. It's that easy. So make sure you're getting over to shadyrays.com. Use that DNVR code for 35% off any pair of polarized sunglasses and try it for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And then, if you got your Shady Rays and you're ready to drive into the sun, make sure you're doing it in a Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR and the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. Jump in with Toyota. There's a bunch of local stores in your Front Range area that you can go check out. Vehicle for everybody. Whatever type of vehicle you like. Trucks, SUVs, crossovers, sedans, anything in between. They've got them all, and they offer 17 different models with all-wheel or four-wheel drive available, like the Epic 4Runner. Has it started snowing out yet? I can't tell. Anyway, it's supposed to snow like half a foot today in Colorado, so you're going to need that all-wheel drive. And if you're trying to save money on your daily commute, 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, even hybrid trucks like the Tundra iForce Max. So visit your Front Range Toyota stores, including Auto Nation Toyota, Rathbone Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of DNVR, Toyota. Let's go places. Final period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. You don't need to look at me anymore. Jared Bednar talked post-game. Didn't have a ton to say, but let's hear from Coach.
A little bit, like he's back, so thought we'd take him out. Better safe than sorry, but we'll just see how his injury develops here over the next couple days and take it from there. Nothing too serious at this point. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I think we made some mistakes early in the game. They were jumping and we gave up 3 breakaways, partial breakaways, some decision making, couple puck decisions, and then one in coverage, and so not really good enough. And then we started to come around. I liked the rest of our night. I thought it was pretty good, committed to the checking side of it, and got a little bit more dangerous on the offensive side, especially in the second period.
Corey Bednar.
You decided not to put Val up on the second line, and then that line was still pretty good. Just what you think of that line together, and then also Val.
Which line? Nelly's?
Yeah.
It was great again. Yeah, I thought they were great again. That's why I didn't put Val on it, because they've been really good here in the recent past. Production's coming, dangerous every night. They seem to have some good chemistry. So, yeah, they keep playing like that. It'll stay like that.
Eric and Ryan. Ryan.
Brock Nelson had another great performance tonight. If I have my stats right, I believe he has 9 or 10 points over his last couple games. But how would you assess his performance over the last couple of
It's been good. I've really liked that line. Like I said, they're starting to find some chemistry. I think all those guys have been good. You don't produce just off one guy, but I think like Landy's game is really like taking a step in the last little bit. Colt's the same way, Nelly same way, and like I said, I think they found some chemistry there, and they're getting on the score sheet every night.
Bailey, then Sean.
Well, talking with Lynn was talking about some of that production that Colton's had, maybe not necessarily on the score sheet, but what can you say about what he's contributed in the last few games for that line?
Colton? Yeah, no, he's been good. I like what he's playing. I touched on it this morning on his identity and what he provides to that line. I think he's been consistent with it.
Sean.
Jerry, I know it's kind of a high bar, but is this peak Nate, even when it's kind of a slow night, you can just flip it and do that, and 5, 6 weeks for him?
So obviously Nate was one of the guys that was sick. I don't think he was at his best tonight on the checking side of it, and that because that takes a lot of energy and a lot of hard work. But here's the thing: you don't got to make every play, but you got to make some big plays. So that's what Nate can do, even when he's not at his best. He still obviously has the ability, and he stays focused enough on doing the right things and to make a play or two that can be difference-making plays for you, and that's what he did tonight.
Jesse, then Evan.
Nate was talking about the chemistry that it seems like you still see those flashes of the line that him, Gabe and Rico had. He said that's a really easy switch to flip with him and Gabe. They've played together for so long. Is that a nice tool for you to have? You can go to those two guys will work together.
Yes, yeah. And we've used it, at times, and now they're seeing power play time together, so you see a little bit more of those flashes. But yes, absolutely.
Last two. Evan.
Honestly, everyone knows Hextall's pushing the power play, but he does a lot more than that. Just talking to Brock, he's a very detailed guy, especially defensively. How much of an impact has he had just getting the group ready to play defensively this year, personally?
Yeah, lots. Yeah, not just Hack, but Prater as well. And I think all of our coaches, they all chip in different areas. But yeah, like lots of small group meetings, one-on-one meetings with some of our guys. Like that's special teams is the start of it, and then they all dig in on the 5-on-5 stuff as well. But he's had a huge impact, no question.
Last one, Evan.
For your trip tomorrow, do you envision Scott Wedgewood going on the road?
Yes,
And the third goalie, or?
don't know yet. Yeah. Yep, thanks.
Short
Pretty-
and sweet.
Yeah, short and pretty harsh. Nathan MacKinnon's sick. He scores 2 goals for you, and Bedsy's like, I didn't love his checking tonight. It's a tough night for him. The Avs are that
No
good.
rest, man. Gotta keep the standard high. We
I
all
guess.
know that complacency is the devil, right?
Sure,
I
at
don't
this
know,
point-
man. You gotta find something to rile yourself up at this point. Bednar's like, I'm the coach. I don't know. I gotta be critical of something.
Can't tell them they're perfect. Then they'll get lazy for sure. It's really tough though. Like genuinely, our job is to analyze and talk about the Avs, and it's usually never hard to find negative things to talk about. If you want to, you can be critical pretty much all the time. And there just isn't a lot to be critical of from the Avs right now. They're not playing perfect hockey, but they're playing hockey that wins pretty much every night.
I saw people in the chat. I mean, you're plus 51 now in goal differential.
Yeah, what even the hell is that?
That's like those stats you see from the Peyton Manning Broncos years, in the second season, where he's like, wait, he threw how many touchdowns? Like 1 million?
In one game?
Wow.
It is worth noting, Avs not just plus 50. Dallas lost in overtime tonight, so the Avs actually did pick up a point in the standings. It is possible.
God is good, y'all. Thank you. Hallelujah.
The Avs also have a game in hand on Dallas. They have 44 points. Dallas has 39. So if the Avs convert that game in hand, they are, in theory, 7 points ahead of Dallas in the standings. And there's no one else in the West even in the ballpark. It's not, realistically, no one else could chase the Avs down. So they've set themselves up indefinitely going forward. Just list.
I mean, the
words
Avs are the smart kid, right? Like every friend group, you got like the guy who's dumb with money, just gets paid, doesn't make enough money to spend the way he does anyways. But it's Friday night, he's going out, and then there's the guy who's preparing for his future. He's got a 401k, putting money away, stacking, setting himself up for success. The Avs right now are going to feel the work that they're putting in now down the line. And I just think that's what's going to be the biggest win here is not having to play those high stress matchups, hopefully, come late March.
Yeah. Honestly, nothing feels all that high stress for the Avs right now.
You're shirtless with the shoe on your head. So yeah, we're definitely in the less tense of times.
I hope that's not the measuring stick. That's tough.
If we learned anything here tonight, it's exactly how much money it costs to get Riddo to show a little bit of skin.
Yeah, $800. That's not that much. I should have made my bleached hair more expensive, but
$1,000 seemed like a pretty unreachable goal when we said it today, and then we shredded it 10 minutes into the show.
100% did not think we were going to make it to $1,000. So thank you again, chat and the whole community. Y'all are awesome. And Big Brothers Big Sisters cool. is a great cause. Like, I know we've been joking around, but it's super awesome. They deserve it all. Hopefully we can get them even more money. I don't have a ton else to say. I guess we did have one super chat from the Schick that we lost because the show exploded because I'm too pale.
Throw out some more suggestions in the chat for the next time we do this, and I'll do. I'm not taking my shirt off on camera. It's just not happening. But I'll do something.
Yeah, we'll give us some good ideas for next time for sure. I know we've ended a bunch of shows with this lately, but have fun with this. The Avs are not going to do this forever this year, and you may genuinely never see this again from the Colorado Avalanche. These types of streaks, this type of play is extraordinarily rare, and we get to enjoy it by doing silly stuff like this. Do something memorable. Have fun.
If you can't appreciate these times, man, why even be a hockey fan? Why be a sports fan at that point? Because this is about as good as it gets.
Yep. And
I was sitting there in the third period, and I just kept thinking to myself how calm I felt. Like a 2-goal lead in hockey's not like the game's over, but it just feels that way.
Yeah, the Avs have been lockdown dominant with their leads for the most part this year, and they've been really good at getting leads. So
good combination. You don't give up a ton of high. I mean, they actually did give up some high danger chances early in this one. Some of those
they did
breakaways that Bedsy mentioned. You want to clean that up. Talk about something you could nitpick. Got a couple of good saves on them though, so you still end up, feeling pretty good coming away from the play. But yeah, I mean, I think this team's ability to strike, and then also once momentum starts to flip, they really seize control of it.
Yeah.
Like they don't give you a chance to breathe once they decide, no, we're taking this one.
Yeah, it never really felt like Vancouver threatened to get back in this game, right? Like you said, yeah, they gave up some of those breakaways early. There was maybe one play in the second period, the Wedgewood save right before he left the game. But beyond that, Vancouver was just non-threatening for the most part until the Avs had a multi-goal lead with 3 minutes left and they pulled the goalie. And at that point, Vancouver's hoping for a miracle and the Avs didn't give it to them. So
yeah, they get the early goal, and it was like they didn't capitalize on the breakaway, and you just kind of felt I would say it would be wrong to say the life went away, because it wasn't like they just laid down. But when I keep going back to that term of inevitability, I just think there's human nature that sets in. Like,
yep,
you get the early goal, you lead the entire period, and then Nathan MacKinnon just ties it, under a minute left in the first period, and you're going to the break. Like, how is this game tied right now? And then you still kind of hang around. You're only down one, and then they get the insurance goal late in the second period. And I think the Avs have done that a lot this season, of like, maybe it hasn't been the banner period. It's not the one we're going to be bragging about for weeks on end. But then they just score in like the last 90 seconds, and you look up and it's tied, or they're up 1-0 or whatever it is. And you're just left shaking your head. I'm like, this team is so stupidly good right now.
Yeah. I'm at a loss for words for it, but thankfully we're at the end of our show, so you guys can stop looking at my body and we can move on with our lives. It's been a fun one. I had a blast. Thank you for participating again, chat, but we do have to wrap this one up. We're back tomorrow for an off-day show. Tune in for that one with me clothed, and I'm not going to promise blonde hair tomorrow's show because I don't know when I'll be able to go get it, but certainly by Thursday game day, I will have blonde hair. So look forward to that. We appreciate all y'all. We got to wrap this up. This has been the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365, and we will talk to you on the next one.
We all silly like the mayor.